is doing what I tell it to do, and Firefox does that. Google Chrome does not do that. So I'm inclined to enjoy Firefox a lot more simply because it lets me know it's working on what I told it to work on.
I need to get in the chat.
All right, I will be right back.
I got the chat open.
I'll be right back, and then I'll come to the chat.
Roger that.
Let's see. Join channel, network, Verizon, right?
irc.rizon, Rizon.
Yeah. Why the fuck? Oh, I know why I said that. .rizon, that it?
irc.rizon.net.
Okay. This is bullshit. Okay. User Godfrey K odds is now plus IX or 9. Whatever. Okay. Join.
/join SLC Media.
Hashtag, right?
Yes, pound SLC Media.
Am I in here? I am in here.
Yes, you are.
I like the fact that I don't have to constantly continue to to change my nick. Like it seems to remember that. Probably because it's a client that's in my browser. That's good. Okay. This is just fucking bullshit.
It's not one thing, it's another.
Well, the thing is, I really don't fucking like Google's business practices. And especially lately.
Yeah.
So, it makes me pretty mad.
It's pretty upsetting, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it. It'd help if I got the fuck out of Skype. It's like, am I gonna have to do this every fucking weekend now, or every other weekend now? I'm laughing at this Kasumi cosplayers. It's like this fat bearded dude. Pokemon. It's pretty funny. Okay, so do we got mail?
Do we? That's a good question. We don't, but I have a third segment already.
Oh, and I also have a story. I don't think I told you about the UFO thing.
Yep.
I've been holding off on it. It's 6 for 6 so far, so I'm pretty confident you'll get a kick out of it. Well, we can start off this ranting about Google Chrome a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably how it's gonna end up.
It's like, come on, Firefox, knock that shit off. Get with the program. Now everybody's going to be like, what the hell? Different avatar.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that it really matters. This is my actual fucking avatar on my, Skype and pretty much everywhere else. Oh, so like, again, I haven't been using this for a while. So I just got a ding. I guess that's actually when they actually at you, basically.
Oh, what for the
client?
Yeah.
Because like it just made the ding, like almost like when you get an error or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so when somebody mentions you by name.
Exactly.
Okay, well that's actually pretty handy.
Oh yeah.
Because if you actually don't have it open and you're looking at something else and somebody's trying to get your attention, that's actually pretty good programming.
Yeah, a lot of IRC clients do that.
Yes, that's
You're not gonna
that's
find
actually
that kind of feature on web IRC.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Virus scan has been completed. Yeah, that actually is kind of similar to the noise. I don't know about any of you guys, but do you remember way back when they used to have like when you got like the default McAfee or something like that?
Yeah.
It like had some creepy Eastern European guy. Like whenever you got a virus or something.
See, that I never got, but I never got many viruses in the first place.
That's because you weren't a teenager with an incredibly virus protection is better when you probably started really getting into things, like because when I was like 14 or 15, my computer was completely just fucking inundated with them. and we all know why. But yeah, like this like Eastern European guy would come on, he'd be like, "Attention, please. Your computer has been infected by a virus." It was scary as shit. It sounded like something out of a Bond movie or something.
Okay, I have the link ready. Just need to get to that tab. All right.
Wait, you actually got the link on the first try?
Yeah, somehow. Link is out. Hit the retweet button.
Same here.
Ow.
When you guys do the what you've been watching, you two go first.
Yeah, I actually do have some stuff to talk about. So
yeah, and I told you
right.
I'm gonna have to spend like 10-15 minutes talking about what I want to talk about. So
okay, everyone ready?
For the most part, just do some final checks here. Czech Republic.
You're good.
Check your serial.
Czech Republic, Prague.
Sweden.
Nah.
All right.
Conquered.
Let's start. In 3, 2. Wait. Okay.
Hang on a sec.
There we go.
So yeah, some like the volume just kind of went all wonky there.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Let's get away from the word obsession. Start using the word passion.
At least Fa's cute, unlike some other characters.
She is okay.
Also, the Adventures of Peter Bear and Shrine Miko.
It's like, who the fuck watches anime and emulates it in this way? I want to know who watched Akira and then thought they could drive a motorcycle and like, you know, beat on people and shit.
I recommend Photokano. It's really good. I mean, I like
That'd
Origami
actually be
too.
a bad thing for me to watch Photokano when I'm getting into photography because I might get ideas.
Pictures of girls.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what they're talking about, but I can tell they're really into it. Tom Force, you're with us.
Okay, gods.
VC Mark II.
You're listening to NTR Radio.
Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And right off the bat, we're having troubles again.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who could have possibly foreseen that NTR Radio would have technical difficulties? Again.
Although this one wasn't on our end.
No.
Like, this one was completely not our fault.
Yeah, this one was not our fault. This one wasn't me just having a bad mixer or anything like that. This one was
or Cthulhu making me fall on my ass.
Yeah, exactly. 100% out of our control.
Yeah, I guess we should go ahead and throw it out there so people know.
Yeah, so it's just so you know, Mozilla Firefox and Google Hangouts have decided to not play with each other.
Yeah, they basically are doing the thing where one of them takes their ball and goes home.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're not my friend anymore.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm
not your buddy, friend. Yeah, basically. So some of us actually had to get Chrome for this.
Well, I already had Chrome. I have it as a secondary browser. I don't like using it because I like browsers that actually tell me what they're doing instead of leaving me guessing. Like, yeah, well, you could. I could tell you that I'm working on what I told you to work on, what you told me to work on, but no, I don't feel like it. Firefox does that. Firefox actually gives me feedback with regards to whether it's doing what I told it to do or not. Chrome just doesn't give a fuck.
Right. So basically, we got that. That's also why I don't have my regular avatar. I'm using one of my other accounts, which is probably going to be what happens from now on if they don't decide to cooperate.
Yeah, until the two of them reconcile.
It's like the breakup movie, you know, like with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. Couldn't think of the guy's name. Ouch.
Like you say names, I recognize the names, but I have no if you told me to pick Jennifer Aniston out of a lineup, I couldn't do that.
She's the girl on Friends whose tits were always showing. The nipples were always poking through.
I remember like 18 seconds total of Friends.
Which you might not have noticed you might not have noticed that as much before the HD. I mean, now it's really obvious. I mean, maybe that's just me. I wasn't really a big watcher of Friends or anything. So, but anytime I have put it on there, she's like in a sweater or something, and you can see her nippies poking out. I'm in favor of this.
Lovely.
I don't see that as a bad thing.
So right off the bat,
we're having a great old time.
Oh no, this is great. So what you want to do is you want to hit up the IRC. To do that, you go to she'slostcontrol.net/podcast. Click on the chat link. That'll take you to the page with the IRC client in it. Give yourself a nickname, hit the button, and join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively, get your favorite IRC client and point it at irc.ryzen.net, and then join us in the # SLC Media channel. In addition to that, you can get at us on Twitter at TEAnubis, at VZMK2, at KGod. No. Caught myself. At classic_KGods. And at NTR_radio. And in addition to that, you can always get at us on the email at ntrradio@gmail.com.
He's preparing himself for his eventual auctioneer career.
Yeah, see, it's weird because I basically go completely unconscious when I do that entire spiel. So changing it up in that way causes me to have to think again, which we all know how good I am at thinking, apparently.
Yeah, this is my fault as usual.
That said, I haven't watched a whole lot.
Oh?
I'm caught up on Seiren. I'm caught up on Maid Dragon. And that's really about it. I did finish Future Diary, which that was a trip. That was a roller coaster if there ever was one. I got this visual of you riding the Screaming Eagle. Like with your hands up in the air, like, whoa! It's hilarious because I've only ever been on one roller coaster.
And you're probably thinking that is very, very unlike me.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
gonna
do
happen.
that.
But that anime was crazy. Like it starts out crazy, but then it gets like it 3/4 of the way through. It just turns into a Tarantino movie. There's people
Okay.
getting shot in the head. There's people getting like not there's knives everywhere. People getting their heads chopped off, necks slit. Kid
So it looks like
running.
Europe.
Yeah,
We're so gonna get in trouble for that.
Why we gotta do?
Jesus, fucking dude.
But no, it's like part like 3/4 of the way through. Kid, you just see kid walking around with an MP5 submachine gun, and like he's just doing that.
I so want to
really
just repeat
crazy.
that. I know it's wrong, but
yeah, so Future Diary is fantastic.
I just noticed. I'm completely sorry about this, but I just homed in on the fact that you're wearing the Mega Milk shirt.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that in a bit too. So Future Diary is great. So, is anyone else caught up on Seiren?
Yes.
Okay, VZ, you gotta. Is it me or is this third heroine the most boring of the heroines?
I actually like her the most, I think.
She just doesn't have any kind of edge to her. It's like
Maybe
the whole story's
too nice.
cute.
She's too nice.
It's not even that she's too nice, but like, what's her angle?
Childhood friend angle.
Well, if that's if that's the thing, then I get why the childhood friend loses every time. Because if that's all you're trying to go off of, and you don't really have very much personality past that,
more of the main guy in his childhood wearing the magical girl outfit, though.
I mean, which I'm 100% on board with that angle. If the third arc of this anime was just main dude as a child in the magical girl outfit, I'll be all set. But this third arc heroine just doesn't seem to have anything going for her in the way of like a uniqueness to her personality.
I was going to say the childhood friend thing seems to have a lot more weight in it in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
That it does here, because here it's very common that they just remain that way the rest of their lives. Basically, if you watch any sitcoms here, Wonder Years,
Yeah.
Which wonderfully uplifting show. If you find yourself intrigued, if you find yourself ready to buy rope by the end of it, you know it did its job.
But yeah, caught up on Seiren, caught up on Maid Dragon.
Speaking of magical Shota,
speaking of Homeboy's magical girl, Maid Dragon, latest episode.
Yes.
We can go on that. I'm ready.
I still have not seen it.
What are you doing?
I'm going to explain what I've been doing. That's my point. I did catch up on Gabriel Dropout, barely. I finished Love Live.
First season or everything?
First season.
Oh, first season. Okay.
And I've started watching Non Non Biori.
Yes.
Which I've been kind of posting a bit, taking like thumbnail captures. It's pretty cool. I kind of like the it has this sort of it goes for. It still has the slice of life kind of vibe, but instead of like being like a school setting, it's more just the countryside.
Yeah.
It's very rural.
Yeah,
and you have these kind of it's very pastoral in the way, like it just feels kind of lazy and almost reminds you and I don't mean that in as a derogatory word.
No,
it just kind of has this carefree.
It's the definition of yashike.
Yeah, it's got this kind of carefree, like, okay, it almost reminds me when sometimes you'll hear someone like Shigeru Miyamoto talking about his childhood. When he talks about how like Zelda is kind of inspired by that, like, oh, I found a cave, I'm just gonna check it out. It kind of reminds me of that kind of mentality a little bit.
How many episodes have you seen so far?
Just 4 so far.
Next episode, man. Episode 5.
Yeah, I see why you like that. I've seen the preview. I know why you're uppity about that. It's fucking a beach episode. My favorite character is Renge.
Renge, okay.
Easily. Just she's a deadpan loli. She's just very entertaining. Yeah, just kind of says amusing things, and
she has the type Takuni. What was it?
Think before you speak.
Yeah.
The raccoon dog thing.
Oh yeah. She like does the whistle and it like hops out of the bushes.
Yeah, and there's like I can make it do a trick, and it just stands there.
Yeah.
For like a couple seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty. And then like she meets like in the latest episode, it's like she meets this friend, and it just reminds you of old. The whole thing reminds you of Summer Vacation.
Yeah, and
it really does.
Oh yeah. The 4th episode where her friend and then it's like, oh, I gotta go back to grandma.
Yeah, and basically,
I was just visiting grandma, and it was like,
yeah, and then at the end she like tears up. It's all like emotional swells, and it's kind of interesting. I love the backgrounds. They're they're beautiful.
It's definitely one of the best looking Silver Link shows.
Yeah, it's scenery porn in the extreme. You get like these really cool looking flowing rivers and woods, and it's just a feast for your eyes. It almost reminds you of like a Ghibli movie, to be honest.
In a way, it does.
Like you could easily kind of see that in a way,
but without the Miyazaki
complaining about the environment.
Yeah, about Japanese society sucks.
Yeah, and the bitterness that his kid doesn't even like him anymore. Want.
All right.
Let's see. Anything else? Just watching a couple offshoot things here and there. They weren't anime specifically. Like I rewatched The Breakfast Club for like the zillionth time, which is always good fun. How can you dislike? Well, I know how you can, but a character like Bender is very, very entertaining. Just sitting there causing shit, just generally being a jackass.
I did forget to mention the Mega Milk shirt.
Yeah.
So what's going on with this?
You started making it?
Yeah. No. Faku got the license to
I saw that.
The chapter this is from. So now the whole thing is you get the shirt and then you get the digital copy of that chapter.
Oh, okay.
So I got the shirt and now I have the
So you can actually now you can officially say how does that go? That's that stupid old saying. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Yep.
Now you got to do the pose.
Yeah, I don't have the chest for the pose. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think anybody wants to see him do the pose.
There's nowhere it's gonna happen. I don't.
See, that pose works because she's a busty girl, not a tall, lanky black guy.
Yeah, I don't own one basketball.
I
don't.
Someone black without a basketball.
That.
Yeah, heresy. That's heresy.
Insert Lakers jokes here.
I was never good at basketball. I
used to play when I was younger.
Straight bad at it.
I wasn't great,
but sports and
basketball
me
keeps hitting me in the face, which is a problem for me because
sports and me never equated into the same sentence.
Too much tetherball hits in the face. How
about too much dodgeball in the gut?
Now
dodgeball, I love fucking dodgeball.
I will roll hard on some dodgeball.
Like, and the thing is when I was a kid, this dates me considerably, but we actually used volleyballs.
Yeah.
And they hurt like a motherfucker.
Oh no,
they hit you in the face.
They used to use those red ones.
Yeah.
We use I was in the era where they use those foam balls that are pretty soft and don't
I
really
feel like being
hurt.
hit with Nerf.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these things actually, it's like the South Park episode where they're playing and like just get bleeding and shit. That was a little more probably. That was probably in reference to that because I mean, if you got hit like in the honker or something, you'd be sitting there and your nose would just be like, crooked and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we used the foam balls, which didn't always fly well. Like here, the thing was, people would quickly identify which ones flew well and which ones did not.
And grab those.
You always get the ones that fly well, and you always hand them off to the best thrower on your side.
Yeah, and then
people would get together and just like collect these balls and just hand them to the people they knew through.
And then you got to just wish for the dragon.
Yeah,
that was fucking terrible.
Okay, so I'll talk about what I'm watching. Unless you got more.
Nope.
No.
All right.
Work.
Well, everything from this season that I mentioned, plus Akiba's trip, which I've been enjoying.
Catch up on that.
I've been enjoying that. One more episode, I think. Both the my Italian cooking.
Again, for ethnic reasons.
Yes. And one.
I love that he said that.
One room.
Yeah, man.
They introduced the third girl, who's a Christmas cake this time. And she does the thing with the drinking of the beer and the.
I got to spend the last week dealing with idiots complaining about St. Patrick's Day.
Hey,
which
cool.
that since we're talking about ethnic things, I'm pretty much Irish by descent, and French, but largely Irish, and that's fucking annoying.
So when do we get the Irish anime?
Good question there. In any case, though, you gotta love that St. Patrick's Day, furthering white supremacy one shamrock at a time.
So besides those things, first I got some OVAs, OADs that I watched.
Any hentai?
No, but but you gotta like. One was the Kinero Mosaic one, which I liked. That was an hour long. That was really good. That was really cute. It was mostly about sort of backstory for Aya's character, like her taking the test to get to high school. The other one was the OAD for Galco-chan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that I liked. That was like a full half an hour episode.
So does it look better than the show did?
Oh, you mean like the limited animation?
Yeah. Does it have a little more panache or something to it?
No, it looked the same. But the show looked fine for me anyway. So
I just like how you say Galco, and my immediate thought process goes to that fucking car insurance commercial. Or company rather.
Well, there is a show in the not the spring but the summer season that's about another Garu character that I think we're all gonna want to see.
Yeah. I know Eromanga Sensei is probably going to be something I'll look at.
Yeah, well that's the spring season. Yeah. Oh well, I definitely know two shows that you guys are gonna want to see. One is that Eromanga Sensei. The other one is the one with the unfortunate acronym Full Armor Girls.
Yep, that one too. I'm also going to check out the second season of Saikano because I watched the first one. It was amazing. I'm
going to look at Berserk, and they better not fuck this one up because they've been dicking it up because like okay you got the manga, which is awesome. Then you got the original anime, which is also awesome, and then you got these terrible CGI infused movies.
Oh yeah, I had to read
that. I mean, CGI does not work in a world like Berserk. It looks dumb. Maybe that's just me, but the whole medieval kind of, it just doesn't work very well for me. It looks like a bad video game.
Drawing Girl says in the chat, Celtic Moe girls.
Yeah,
I'll go for that. Anime
girls in kilts.
Is that like Celtic Woman, except they're a J-pop group?
Oh geez, like like you got a bunch of like people in the schoolgirl things, but they're wearing like kilts and like got bagpipes and shit. Yes, I know that's more of a Scottish thing.
Okay, so now to the real thing I want to talk about. Two aspects I'm gonna split off, but they're kind of related. First is I've been watching on Twitch. They've been doing this Power Rangers marathon that I've been really enjoying. I missed the first season because I forgot that they were starting on that. So I watched like second season onward.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that. It's been kind of a nostalgic trip because I haven't seen a lot of this stuff in years.
Right.
I'm not going to watch everyone, but I'm watching like the ones that up to like where I stopped caring. More or less. They're basically doing this.
So basically, like people who liked old school Nickelodeon, like they used to like Doug, and then Disney got it, and it's just like, nope.
Yeah, kind of something like that. Where same thing like they're basically doing this for promotion for the new movie, which I am going to see. Right. I am going to see that, even though it looks like everything Hollywood turns out these days. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm done with seeing, at least paying money to see those Michael Bay Transformer movies. I'm done with those. I literally
Well, the funny thing about that is that you've got the toys. You can just add explosive sound effects and have them just like beat on each other for a little bit. And you don't even have to go pay.
It'd probably be more entertaining too.
Yeah, exactly.
That too. It'd have a better plot line.
Yeah. You could literally come up with a more interesting thing than whatever it is that's going to be happening. But again, I want to give at least this Power Rangers movie the benefit of the doubt. I give any of these things that I'm interested in.
You know what I'm not going to give the benefit of the doubt to? The new Ghost in the Shell live action movie.
No, I've not even watched the trailer, so I literally don't.
Which is a shame because it's not like I dislike Scarlet or anything necessarily. It's just that I don't like what they did with it.
Oh, they did this terrible PSA, by the way.
Oh, and they also have a dubstep thing too.
Did any of you see the PSA?
The PSA. What is it like? Is it like some kind of like feminist thing or something?
Yeah. It's basically. I'll give the gist of it. I actually saw it through Amazing Atheist channel. So,
by the way, he's in trouble lately. If you actually noticed, he got into some entanglement.
I haven't noticed that, but he's gotten in trouble before. But anyway, gist of it was this little Asian girl sees a comic book shop. She doesn't like the type of comics they have.
I'm already getting.
I already know where this is going, and I don't like it.
She picks up the Ghost in the Shell manga, which is not for little girl.
Oh, fuck no.
And she's like enjoying it because it's like,
that's funny on a couple levels.
Because it's like, I guess they're thinking this character looks like me. Then she's here as an adult.
Number one, the character doesn't look like her. And where do people get this notion? Like, anime characters do not look like human beings.
Wait. It gets worse. Then you see her as an adult, and then but for some reason she looks like a trans male.
She probably it's probably just she cut her hair short.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that.
Rock that boat.
Yeah.
We've already said plenty of offensive things on this podcast. Let's not push the envelope.
So, but anyway, and she's looking at the poster of the new movie, and she's kind of disappointed because the whole race lifting thing and all that.
This is so fucking dumb on a couple levels. One, the Japanese don't care. They've actually shown that so what do you think about this? They're just like, don't care. And the other
realistically, from what I hear, they're largely appreciative that Hollywood's even paying attention to Ghost in the Shell in that way.
Well, but beyond that though, here's the funny thing. It clearly shows somebody didn't do their homework if they think a little girl should be reading Ghost in the Shell, the manga.
Yeah.
Like
because it's got casual pornography in it.
yeah,
Exactly. And there's plenty of stuff for
What are you
girls
doing?
now in manga.
I mean, put it this way: the major just casually has lesbo sex for fun.
Yeah, there's a whole two-page spread about that. Now, realistically, they took that out of the English release.
Originally,
So if you're using
put it back in.
using the original
Put
English
that back
version,
in.
yeah.
Why do I feel like we're like adults yelling at the kids with the cookie jar? Put that back.
Put that back in there.
Put the cookie down now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Back to what I really wanted to talk about. I've been I'm watching something, but wanted to see the whole thing of, but I had to get into the mood. Again, it's about being into the mood of these things. Since the 90s, I'm watching. It's written ZYU Ranger, but it's pronounced Zhu because of the ZR thing in Japanese. So Zhu Ranger.
Very unfortunate name.
Yes.
So many bad jokes could come out of this.
Which it just
I have one right now.
Oh no.
it just means Beast Ranger, by the way.
It's
It's the show.
the Israeli Special Forces.
Yeah. Two-state solution. Not gonna.
Well, it was picked up by Saban. And if you know anything about, I won't say it here, but if you know anything about Saban, look him up. There's
everybody knows about Saban and how they managed to basically rape DBZ and.
Yeah, but there's more than that. I'm just gonna say one thing, and you draw your own conclusion. In the Power Rangers marathon thread that I've been following, there's a picture of him and Hillary Clinton. You draw the rest of that together. Okay, draw your own conclusion. Okay, so back to what I was saying, Zhu Ranger. Because in the late 90s, I actually used to buy tapes of Super Sentai that were like recorded from TV and such. So I actually had a decent collection, and I had some episodes of that. But now I'm watching the entire thing now. I am enjoying the ever fuck out of this.
I'm actually watching The Simpsons because they actually have them on demand, and they actually have like the first season and the first half of season 2. So
Yeah.
I'm actually watching those, and I'm gonna watch them up to basically season 8 or 10 or something like that.
See, I like a little bit past that. I liked up to like 12.
Well, they had their hits after like the main like chunk of it, certainly, but the quality just dropped. The writer changes really are what kind of sank them. That and they kind of depended on celebrities a bit too much to kind of try to bolster the episode's entertainment value.
All right, so okay, but back to what I was saying, because again, I have to talk about some of this, even though again I know you never grew up with Power Rangers, so you probably don't have any context for what I'm saying.
I grew up with it. I just wasn't allowed to watch it because I didn't want to get beat up.
All right.
Power Rangers was the shit.
Okay, so this was the show that became the basis for the first Power Rangers season. A very different premise and show. First off, if you boil it down to the basics, it's basically God versus Satan. God is in the form of dinosaur robots, and the character that was played Rita Repulsa, called Bandura, is a character that basically sold her soul to the devil in this show, which they call Die Satan. D-A-I, which means Great Satan.
Okay, can basically I love when you see these contrasts compared to the things we get.
Yeah.
And it's just like, next thing you're gonna tell me is there's a gangbang.
What else? The putties, I never noticed this until watching this show, which are, by the way, are called golems. They have upside down pentagrams on their like belts. What else? I'm trying to think. What else? There's a lot of okay, it's there's a lot of goofiness, and it's that Japanese special type of goofiness that
Morning Rescue goofiness.
yeah, it's that special type of Japanese goofiness that you distinctively Japanese.
Or like the police guy punching Darth Vader in the face.
That one I don't know, but
that's really funny if you haven't seen it. It's
nah, but I'm sure you know what I mean. But at the same time, there's a lot of aspects that make the show smarter than Power Rangers, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of references to mythology, especially Greek mythology with the monsters.
Oh, okay.
And I looking up the Wikipedia stuff is
minotaurs and
stuff like a cockatrice and there's the standard not
Pantheon,
the centaur.
god pantheons or
not the centaur, the other one, the
minotaur.
Minotaur, that's it.
That's what I was saying earlier. The bull.
Yeah. So there's a lot of it's a little bit smart, but again, it just shows it's now here's the thing about Super Sentai. Originally, I kind of thought a lot of there's the sort of people have that because this stuff is so much darker or a little bit more serious or characters die, which again, big spoiler, even though it's something everyone knows, the Green Ranger dies in this. That's the big spoiler of
my heart
of the But so it's it has to be for teenagers, while Power Rangers is for kids. No, it's for the same exact age audience, little kids. It's just what's kind of acceptable.
It's just there's bearded 40-year-olds in the back.
It's just the difference between what's acceptable,
just like Star Wars,
versus what flies over there, especially in the 80s and 90s media.
Yeah,
where, they just did not care. Well, they did, but they compared how they have to really censor stuff. Best example is what Golion versus Voltron. That's kind of the best example of what I'm talking about. Where Golion still a show for kids, but so
just one of the main characters is born through rape.
Also, was it Monsters Eat People?
Genocides.
Yeah. Blood.
All that good stuff.
So again, it really just shows the kind of, I don't want to say disdain, but a sort of.
I think it's just more that they.
A dumbing down of Western media.
I don't mean even a dumbing down. I think it's more of just their culture has a lot more is a lot more open to just flat out reality.
I think so, and I think it's actually
and fantasy and reality are recognized early on as not being the same.
Right. I think that's why there's again you saw that thing with the lady and the guy, the BBC interview.
To where Dan laid the smackdown.
Yeah, and it's
and had the most fucking just hilariously disapproving, just kind of scolding a child look on his face.
And I think that's
serious.
Or early on, in Japan, they it's sort of laid out into childhood the distinction between fantasy and reality. Really early on in childhood.
This is a culture where suicide is not considered necessarily a bad thing. So I mean,
people really underestimate
it's
just how
different
different these cultures are.
Right. I mean, granted, that sounds simplistic when I say it that way, but anybody who knows about Japan knows about seppuku.
Yeah. So I'm halfway through the show, which, by the way, it's 50 episodes. These things are usually year-round things. I plan on watching a couple other Sentais, mostly the ones that I grew up on, because here's another thing. How I consider the 80s the high point for mecha anime? Mecha is usually through anime.
Right.
Well, Mecha for me, the high point of mecha is actually found in like Super Sentai for the 90s. I mean, not to say there's great 90s mecha anime, that there is, but I really think that, and I think Super Sentai really came to that high point in the 90s. It kind of figured out the right formula of like everything. I really miss the use of. Now I was explaining this to Nubis before the recording. I missed the use of like they would use, even though the show was like these shows like the ones I'm watching are like from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
The cameras they would use were like from the late 70s, early 80s, so it looked much older and very obvious what footage was Japanese and what footage was new for Power Rangers when you watched Power Rangers.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
It's a grainy, really aged look, even though the source material that it would only be a year old.
Right. So basically, they kind of had the thing where in Photoshop now, how you would have like a grain filter or not like a
noise filter.
Yeah. Basically, to where you can like age something, like maybe put some like sepia or something like that in there.
Right.
Age, but also for a long time they used like special effects that would be considered outdated.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Because Japan, despite what people knowing that despite being a rich country, their film industry is not.
So, well, it's kind of like how in Asian countries they still do wire work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like in martial arts and stuff, whereas here we just computerize that shit.
Right.
Yeah, which is kind of, again, I mean, even though I want to see it, the charming aspects I found for like Super Sentai Power Rangers are going to be completely missing in this new movie.
Right.
Because the stuff like
missing it.
I always thought it was funny, or I always thought it'd be funny if Japan started putting like their own type of like product placement in these things. Like, for what I mean by that is like their smoking commercials and shit. I always thought that would be really funny, considering how anti-smoking the U.S. is.
Yeah, there's no way that would fly in the United States.
I know, but it would be really funny if they had like some sort of like, well, even in anime sometimes you'll see like or parodies of cigarette brands.
Right.
Yeah,
like they're supposed to be like Marlboro or something like that.
So that's basically it. I mean, I'm having fun with it. Anyone else seen Zhu Ranger, tell me in the, on my Twitter.
The IDF.
It's freaking people practicing. Like,
that's the way it's pronounced. I'm not making it up. It's just the way it's pronounced.
It's led by Madonna.
All right.
Anyway, with that, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. Hit that button and then that button.
It just sounds like when you're a kid and you're just learning how to type. So you're just kind of like looking for the key. You're just kind of like. That was one of those things when I was a little kid I swore I'd never learn to do.
What, type?
Type properly. And now I look back at that just kind of funny. It's just like, wow.
I actually never learned how to type properly.
Really?
They had in middle school, they had this game where you would do the typing thing and it would shoot the spaceships and stuff. And it was the entire instruction where you've got your left index on the F key, your right index on the J key, and your thumbs on the space bar, and you're doing all that sort of thing. And I never picked up that way of doing things.
Interesting.
The way I learned how to type quickly and accurately was by playing a lot of World of Warcraft.
Interestingly enough, when I was a little kid, I had like one of those computer things, almost like a Simon Says type deal.
Like one of those VTech computers?
Yeah, I think that actually is what it was. Like, because it taught you how. And that's actually how I learned. And over time, I just got fast about it.
VTech.
Yeah, but originally I was like, I'm just going to be that one finger person, like old people, they're just kind of like, dude.
Yeah, there's no way I would have survived doing that in World of Warcraft, especially running raids against other players. Like,
yeah,
'cause when you're trying to lead,
people would be taking advantage of that.
Yeah,
oh, here's the slow typing guy.
when you're trying to lead 40 people into Westfall to lay waste to the area
With your thumb up your butt, just kind of like.
you can't be searching for keys. In fact, you need to have your WASD to move, and you need to quickly be able to hit the enter button, type in a message to your raid real quick, and hit the enter button, and have that accurate and understandable. So that's really where I learned how to type quickly and accurately. It was by
That being
being
said,
a guild leader in WoW.
That being said, I think we've all had a moment where we've just put our hands on the wrong keys.
Oh yeah,
and start typing, and then you look at it, it just looks like some kind of smashing gibberish.
Like you put your hands on the wrong keys, or like your hands are offset by one key.
That's what I mean.
When you type something, it all comes out offset to the right by one key.
Yeah, or it's just flat out like it just looks like a bunch of gibberish, and there's like just symbols. We should probably announce about the kind of the podcast and where it's going.
Yeah,
know.
so in the coming few weeks,
when we're not when we're not in the middle part of this.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you think that's a better idea.
No, it is probably a good call to announce that where people will actually hear it instead of where people
that's kind of what I was trying to get at. I mean, granted, by the time this probably gets edited and encoded, it'll probably already be all up, and so I mean,
well, I've started the transition. Like, episode 80 is in the new feed now, but it's the only thing in the new feed.
Mm-hmm.
I need to basically re-upload all our old episodes and backdate them to when they actually came out.
So please tell me these aren't going to be in just jumbled order.
No, no, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen like that.
Last time on NTR Radio.
I just got a new mic.
Next time on NTR Radio.
NTR Radio for all your...
Yes.
Next time on NTR Radio for all of your cuckolding needs.
We should do that. Isolate that particular music, and then
that particular that riff.
Yeah. There's still like next time on NTR Radio.
Let me get some of these articles ready.
Can I just say that I actually that I really, really dislike DBZ's score when they butchered it. and the fact that they sound like really, really bad wrestling announcers half the time.
I only have perspective on that particular version of DBZ because by the time that I discovered that there was another version of DBZ, I was not into DBZ anymore.
Yeah,
so that's Dragon Ball Z to me.
See, I'm weird. I actually like the music that they came up with.
Oh, I hate it.
Not some like I know it doesn't. It's weird. Like I know the original had the more like orchestral type of thing, but I don't know. Just somehow
it's not even that. It's the fact that they're constantly putting in music where it was originally silent and shit like that.
That is true. That is true.
And it just completely destroys whatever thing they were actually trying to set up. You don't know better than the actual original score. You know what I mean? Like you don't know better than the people who made the thing.
Although it's weird, like watching, like again, both Power Rangers and Zyuranger. I actually like the music for both versions, even though like it's a little more fitting for the original source material. But
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Too bad we don't got to drop in a fucking more
I'm gonna get friggin'. I'm gonna come out of my front door and there's a bunch of Mossad agents just surrounding me in a semicircle.
Neon's in a helicopter yelling at you. Donald Trump's wiretapping you.
Of course this pen doesn't work properly. That would be too easy. There.
So you want to do these in basically in order?
Yeah, pretty much in the order I sent them.
Are we just going to do like the commentary on each kind of like response here?
I'm not going to read the entirety of these articles, just what really matters.
And yeah, I mean, what's weird is how blatant some of this. Yeah, I mean, you definitely probably got to read the original one that started the kind of. Yeah. At least, certainly with the first thing.
Well, we're going to talk about first thing the
Crunchyroll thing.
Yeah, we got to kind of mention it. It's sort of relevant to things going on right now.
Big topic. Okay, hitting the soundboard back up. Get that back in order. Ready on third segment.
You mean second?
Second.
Ready on second segment.
Come on, man. Getting the right. Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So for this episode, we're going to do basically an extended news roundup because there's been a couple real big stories that have hit, and they're kind of important to talk about. So with that, I actually have a drop-in for that.
Let's use working to restore power.
We're
fantastic.
We're Anime World Order now.
No.
Oh, because they used that all. They were the ones that did that for their
really?
segment.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's from Macross Plus.
I know that. But for years I didn't know where that was from. But then I was watching Macross Plus one time. I was like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah. So
So our first story is there was something happened at Crunchyroll.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, there was a situation at Crunchyroll, and basically what happened was a bunch of their paying subscribers, to be very specific, were being served lower quality video than is usual. So
wasn't it like half the bit rate or something like that?
Yeah, about half the bit rate of normal. So the link is going out in the IRC now.
And basically, here's the funny thing about that. I mean,
get the credit to the original guy that posted it.
Yes, there naturally will be credit to the original guy. So this is coming from medium.com by Daiz. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Daiz. Crunchyroll's reduced premium video quality is either deliberate cost cutting or catastrophic incompetence. And this is a title that was changed from the original title. And there have been a couple updates. I'm skipping past those.
Wait, you're sounding a little.
Yeah, like I can't even understand what you're saying hardly.
I have no idea what to do about that, so I'm just going to continue. Skipping past the 2 updates, starting on the article. On March 11, 2017, people started noticing that something was going on at Crunchyroll. Namely, how the video quality for paying customers seemed to be looking a lot worse than before. They weren't wrong. The bitrate in basically all the previous streams had been essentially halved, leading to noticeable reduction in quality. Many people have been wondering if this was some sort of isolated incident or a technical issue of some kind. Well, as you might guess from the title, it's the exact opposite. It was an intentional move that's been a long time in the making. Again, the title originally said just a cost-cutting measure, but that was changed subsequently. So how did we get here? Back in 2016, people who follow Crunchyroll's actions closely started noticing them using new video encoding settings when on some content. While this might sound like a potentially good and exciting news at first, the reality was much more alarming. The new videos looked a lot worse than their existing ones. What's more, they were replacing existing videos with these new worse ones. While new content continued to use older encoding settings with higher bitrate, they were getting swapped out for worse versions, usually around a week later. Over time, the swapping got faster and faster until on March 11th, a new milestone is reached. The new worse video was rolled out to a portion of Crunchyroll's user base instantly, with no access to a higher bitrate version available at any point. This didn't go unnoticed. The resulting backlash made Crunchyroll roll back the instant deployment of the new low bitrate video for now, and only these episodes, and only for a few episodes. More on that later. But while on their original forums, you might have seen a person claim that this was not intentional, just repeating what was told to him, and probably didn't know any better. Don't be fooled. Again, this is 100% deliberate on Crunchyroll's part. So why would they do this? Well, the obvious answer is money. When your video files are half the size they used to be, that's going to save you a pretty penny when it comes to bandwidth costs for moving all that video around to their users. Of course, the problem with this is that video quality takes a nosedive as a result. And Crunchyroll didn't exactly have great video quality to begin with. They've basically always been the lowest bitrate premium videos in their niche of digital anime streaming. So is Crunchyroll in a terrible financial position where they need to resort to drastic cost-cutting measures? Quite unlikely, considering how just a month back they were celebrating how they've hit a milestone of 1 million paying subscribers. 100 million, and announced that they were even going to host their own Crunchyroll Expo. Beyond that, Crunchyroll has been on the receiving end of funding to the tune of millions of dollars several times in the past, and its parent companies include names like AT&T and the Chernin Group. So what gives? Well, there's really only one conclusion to make. Crunchyroll doesn't really care about video quality, and I believe the same goes for their paying customers. This is why they've never said anything about this quality reduction. They thought no one would notice. And even now, it seems like they're trying to sweep it under the rug. Go ahead.
What do you mean you won't fucking notice? It's a visual medium.
Yeah, exactly. So
sure they won't notice. These are only people that, worry about 1080p and all, frames per second in video games, and clearly they won't notice at all.
I'll let you check it again, but you go on.
Yeah. Their PR people had pretty clearly also not been informed about the change beforehand, as they had no idea what was going on. Another person's support inquiry about the video quality also resulted in a canned response to the tune of, any video quality problems would be due to an individual's internet connection.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, okay, continuing. As mentioned earlier, the user backlash made Crunchyroll roll back on the instant deployment of the new low bitrate video. However, this is only for new episodes. All older episodes that have been converted over to the new low bitrate format are only available to paid users in said low bitrate format, and any new episodes are converted over just a day after initial release. There's an update going. We'll get back to that later. You can see for yourself in this comparison link, which demonstrates the difference in video quality when the episodes were first released with higher bitrate encodes versus what they look like now with lower bitrate encodes. What this means in practice is that if if you're not watching something within 2 days of airing on Crunchyroll, you're getting lower quality video than pirates who can still watch the higher bitrate initial release, since that's what the pirate rippers grab. And that's some straight up bullshit. Legal paying users should not be getting worse quality video than pirates, period. And then it goes into a discussion of video quality, and we're not going to get into that.
That's for a different podcast.
Yeah.
Go into that.
Considering I use horrible subs, but I get it, which is Crunchyroll, right?
So there were a couple updates. The first happening on the 15th. Link following shortly, and it's in the IRC now. So Crunchyroll made a statement on its video quality issues, and basically, not gonna really read the whole thing, but basically it glosses over the issue. Says last weekend new episodes were released through a new infrastructure to test the system's ability to serve video to large portions of the Crunchyroll audience. The encodes that were used, users' experience were not up to the standards of our previous system. While we had previously identified issues with these encodes, solutions for a broad rollout require us to first move completely to new infrastructure. Going on, please know that it would never be Crunchyroll's intention to lessen the viewing experience. In cases like this, we're grateful users reached out to us and provided us feedback on the issue. Thank you for your feedback.
With their pants down.
Pretty much.
This is what they call damage control.
Yeah.
It's DC. It's damage control.
Wow. Yeah.
Like
backed it to a corner.
At what level do you think that nobody's going to notice you doing this? Like in a medium that is entirely almost visual. I don't know. It just reminds me of some of the kind of bullshit sometimes gaming companies would pull.
Oh yeah.
When they would promise something and then they deliver a game that wasn't even fucking finished.
Or doing stuff like putting DLC on the disc already. So you have the content, but you need a code to unlock it.
Which you have to pay for.
Yeah, which you naturally have to pay for.
Yeah. Remember when games had the shit already on there and you just, you acquired
remember when you bought it remember when you bought a full game?
Yeah, and basically, you could unlock things through codes or achievements and things like that. And you didn't have to pony up fucking money to do it. I miss those days.
Yeah. In any case, what went on and transpired, and really I'm wondering which of these ones I should do first, because they have the latest update first, because this actually explains what happened. And it turns out it really was not a deliberate cost-cutting measure, and was more it was more a case of incompetence, them not knowing what they're doing fully.
Mm-hmm.
No, they definitely, yeah.
The link is in the IRC. This is also from Medium. This is coming from Michael Dale, who is at Elation. Elation is the parent company to Crunchyroll. At Elation, we have been hard at improving video quality for Crunchyroll and VRV. I assume that's pronounced Verve, and we'll get into what Verve is in a second. At Elation, we've been hard at work rolling out updated encoding settings to drive increased video quality for Crunchyroll. This work includes improvements to quality for both our HD viewers and those on limited bandwidth to get the best quality possible for the device. Traditionally, Crunchyroll video had been served out of data center infrastructure. However, to scale with the launch of Verve and the growing Crunchyroll audience, we decided to transition to cloud encode and delivery. The transition to the new cloud delivery infrastructure is starting to drive greater stability in video serving and involve using an alternate set of encodes. These encodes were affected by a mistake in our encoding settings discovered after the catalog had been encoded. We have been using these problematic encodes for distribution a day or more after publishing the simulcast, and we're progressively reducing this delay. The Crunchyroll community rightfully raised concerns about these transitional encodes and are not up to the quality we intended. We apologize for not hitting the high quality bar that we are committed to delivering throughout the entirety of this transition, as well as for any confusion this may have caused. Today we're rolling out some of the encode profiles we're transitioning to as part of a new cloud video encoding infrastructure. We see these new encodes as the upper end of online streams for anime available anywhere. You will see these updated encodes immediately for all simulcasts going forward. The entire back catalog will also be refreshed with updated settings as we continue our transition to the new cloud platform as originally intended.
Wow, that's some word salad. They just like.
So basically, what it comes down to is they were using the wrong encodes for a while. There was a mistake in their encoding settings. They were using the wrong encodes. That it wasn't supposed to be that low quality. And
there's a part of me that thinks that they're either A, lying, or B, just really, really incompetent.
And you know what? Either of those is just as bad. Like stupid or lying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that just thinks that, oh shit, we're caught, and they're scrambling.
And there's another part of me that's like, if they let a mistake like that fly for that long,
like, what are you doing?
What's going on?
See, I would feel much more. I think not just me, but most people would feel much more confident if they admit, yeah, we wanted to be, and I think people would go back. Not a lot of people, but at least people would be more receptive if they actually admitted what they did.
If they had originally gone and said, okay, here's we figured out what happened, here's what happened, instead of doing the statement and stuff. And it might have taken a while to figure out what happened. I don't know what's going on at Crunchyroll. Obviously not much, because we're getting these kinds of mistakes going on. But this is something this is the last I'm going to do with this Elation article, because this just points out something that I want to touch on here. Crunchyroll, what's changing? Crunchyroll's old video infrastructure encoding quality used a flat bit rate across all its devices. This resulted in a one-size-fits-all for every show, where episodes use a fixed bit rate to meet quality expectations. Similar to Netflix's transition to per content encoding, Elation has started moving to more variable bit rates and per content constant quality settings. This transition enables bandwidth-constrained consumers on mobile devices to experience much higher video quality, since video bit rate is not artificially constrained, blah, blah, blah. So my interpretation, and tell me if I'm crazy here, is that in trying to make this content more suitable to mobile devices, they accidentally lessens everyone's experience. They accidentally cut out half the bit rate for everyone, even if they're not on mobile devices.
Yeah, basically they botched their actual website viewing.
Yeah,
people.
The people who might be like me or are running this on a fucking beast, that can handle some HD video. Like this is the least I can do on this machine.
Well, I was actually going to say it's kind of like the difference between web Twitter and mobile Twitter.
Well, yeah,
it kind of works like that, and I think that's what they were trying to do, or at least assuming they're not just blowing smoke up everybody's ass.
Well, assuming, giving them the benefit of the doubt in that respect,
which maybe we shouldn't, but in any case, for the purposes of argument, So basically, they had somebody that completely dropped the ball.
Yeah, someone
Or a team.
someone or some people typed the wrong numbers in, and as a result, people got less video quality. So to just touch on what Verve is, this is a video streaming service that has all these different channels on it: Crunchyroll, Funimation. They've got Rooster Teeth on there, Cartoon Hangover, Riff Tracks, College Humor, Machinima. It's this amalgamation of Elation's amalgamation of all these different services in one mobile platform. So just mentioning that because that's certainly involved in what's going on here. Anyway, Dies responds to the Elation article on Medium here. Crunchyroll has put out a technical blog post regarding the reduced video quality. They have also started pushing out new encodes with improved encoding settings, albeit from quick comparing, the new encodes are more of a sidestep compared to their old ones from before the reduced quality ones. Nevertheless, this means that the vastly reduced video quality will be going away eventually and should not affect new episodes from now on. I'd wish we gotten more than just effectively a return to the starting point, though. One can hope that Crunchyroll has learned their lesson, though, and will be improving their video quality further afterward. Maybe one day they can actually start fixing flaws in the sources they get. I do have to point out one thing from their technical blog post, though. Quote, "We see these new encodes as the upper end of online streams for anime available anywhere." This statement is simply not true. Even with the new settings, Crunchyroll is still decidedly in the lower end of quality as far as premium anime video quality is concerned. Just look at the comparison from Anime on Demand, which I believe is a French anime streaming service. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the next, from the end of this post, while this uses the old video from before the reduced quality hit for Crunchyroll, it still gives an good indication of how much room for improvement there is. So they're back to where they were, which isn't very good. But it turns out, as far as we know, it was a mistake, and they basically brought things back to status quo. Now, one thing, that's basically blown over. But one thing I do want to mention is some of the responses that they got.
These ranged from entertaining to outright bullshit.
Yeah. And to just exemplify this, I want to. The link is in the IRC. This is Zach Birchie from ANN's response to the Crunchyroll bitrate debacle. Okay, so Anonymous asks, "Did you hear about Crunchyroll lowering the bitrate of their files? Thoughts?" Answer: Yeah, I finally had time last night to read Dai's novel about this. One, based on all the evidence he assembled in that post, it looks like Dai's probably has a point with Crunchyroll changing their video quality. It looks like maybe a cost-saving measure to me as well, but it's also something I've noticed a lot in other streaming services. At other services, I chalked it up to a filter change before. Maybe something they knew people would tolerate that delivered cheaper file sizes. The end result is that HD video quality is a touch more washed out, maybe. Looks slightly, almost imperceptibly softer than before. It's a very minor change in my opinion. Two,
it's not imperceptibly if you noticed it.
Not imperceptibly if this many people noticed it, but
seriously.
But continuing. Two, the physical evidence Dice gives, the screen cabs and rollover comparisons, are just not particularly compelling, even to someone like me who cares about stuff like video quality. The screenshot comparisons look to me like a difference of subjective opinion over filtering methods, not like they caught Crunchyroll red-handed burning the consumer or whatever the charge is. I didn't sign a contract stating Crunchyroll has to deliver me a certain file size. I do expect something that looks reasonably like HD video, and I'm still getting that. One filter is jaggier and a little more artifacted looking. The other is a little softer, not quite sharp enough. Frankly, I thought in the rollover comparisons, the blurrier one often looked better. I fucking hate jaggies and artifacting more than I hate a slight filtering blur to the picture. Dies was talking up the Kaze screenshot like it looked great, like that's what we're supposed to want, but it just looked not great in a different way to me. One's a little jaggy, one's a little soft. The blurry one has a similar file size to me. Though I'm not going to lead a torches and pitchforks mob to the gate of Crunchyroll over that, which is what I feel like Dies is asking for. And that's the point I want to touch on. Because throughout the entire transpiring of this situation, what I saw a lot of was simple accusations of, oh, you just don't like Crunchyroll. And this coming from some of Crunchyroll, coming from some of Crunchyroll staff was the dismissal of arguments because they're using horrible file sizes to exemplify. Okay, this is the file size from these people who like these are Crunchyroll files. Just take the files. The file sizes are halved. Are we going to address this? No, we're not, because it's a pirate site.
Okay, but in all things considered, this is just simply bad PR.
Yeah, that the constant thing, and realistically, I get that piracy is bad with regards to anime. Understand, but we're not even approaching the piracy as a service problem paradigm. Just completely ignoring. Oh, I'm not even going to look at that. Not even going to acknowledge it because it has something to do with people who pirate anime.
Mm-hmm.
Which is curious to me, because
it's like putting on a Band-Aid on a problem.
Yeah, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a problem, and it's curious to me because remember Crunchyroll's roots?
Yeah.
They were these people.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be. I mean, it seems like every other week there's some sort of shady bullshit that's like seeping out of this group.
I'm 100% willing to write off this entire debacle as someone put the wrong numbers into a program and we ended up with halved bit rates. But what I'm really curious about is this complete unwillingness to this willingness to fight people over their concerns are legitimate, but because they use pirate sites as a reference, we're going to completely disregard what they have to say. And some of these people are paying Crunchyroll subscribers.
I mean,
I'm a paying Crunchyroll subscriber. So so now you're also brushing off your paying subscribers because they happen to use pirate sites as a reference.
I mean, this all just seems like you're just basically asking for them just to take their ball and go home.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, why are we concerned? Okay, so it's like, oh no, they're using pirate sites, so we're not going to resolve that. Why are people? Yeah, why are people willing? Why is anyone supposed to be willing to use a pirate site over Crunchyroll? Why are we getting higher quality video out of these pirate sites than we are out of paying for the shit?
Yeah, I mean,
why is that happening? Why is that allowed to go on? And then we're gonna come to people who have legitimate concerns and brush them away because they use these sites as a reference.
Just sounds like, to me, the whole thing just sounds, and the behavior and the general basically dick sucking about it just seemed to really indicate that it's probably the first thing. They just got caught.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna go with my gut instinct on this.
I mean, either way with that, whether they got caught or whether it was a legitimate mistake, my whole thing is why, if, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this in the next news story we do. They should have acted like Funimation did with the Fujoshi Life thing. They should have said, listen, we're really sorry. Your concerns are legitimate. Please stop beating us. Because it's just baffling to me how, especially considering Crunchyroll's roots, they could be so dismissive of people who have legitimate concerns, especially when, again, pirates are getting higher quality video.
Makes me think that one of two things have happened. Either one, it's been taken over by new people who don't have those roots, or two, people you don't really see. They're kind of in the background.
And there actually might be some legs to that argument, but go ahead.
Or two, they've just gotten a really big fucking head.
Well, considering that they fired a big deal of the Crunchyroll staff.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's actually a good point.
This was back in January 2017.
Wasn't that because their parent company had a problem and it started hemorrhaging people?
I'm not sure what the situation was at Elation, but it was Elation's decision to fire those people. So this is from January 18th, 2017 on animeherald.com. Crunchyroll parent Elation lays off 17 employees. So basically what goes on is the Elation CEO issued a statement about it. We recently closed an acquisition to significantly expand the size of our engineering team. As part of company restructuring efforts, it is with regret that we needed to make some difficult but necessary changes at Elation. This morning, we parted ways with 17 employees that played important roles in helping us grow the company over the last several years. This was not an easy decision, but one that puts Elation on the path towards continued growth. While this announcement is unfortunate, it is not a reflection of Elation's overall business. It was a record year for Crunchyroll in 2016, and Verve is off to a great start. We have some exciting plans for 2017 we'll be sharing soon.
This is business speak at its most bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Everything about this is a nice way of saying we can these fuckers because it was more profitable.
By the way, if you ever
here's the thing with that, K-Gods. You notice very simple. Notice very, very specifically. We recently closed an acquisition, so that means some kind of merger happened. Every time a merger happens,
restructuring efforts. Love that.
Yeah, exactly. But every time a merger happens, people get laid off.
Yeah,
because you have to eliminate
uniformly. That's what happens.
Yeah, you have to eliminate redundancies.
Yeah, of course.
They acquire people.
Hasn't everybody seen Office Space?
Well, I say this because you know how frustrated I get when people who fundamentally don't know about business talk about business.
Yeah, so especially since you're kind of in that field. So
yes, so just so people fully understand, anytime a merger happens, what very likely happens, and this is 99% happens.
It's like a Venn diagram. It's oh, these people can go.
Yeah, people get laid off because this company has people who do the same job as these people do in this company. So we can't keep all of them around. So some people got to go. So
I think I'm going to
almost
start
always
incorporating.
happens when a merger happens, or an
I think I'm going to
acquisition.
start.
In this
I'm going to start incorporating the term restructuring efforts into my normal vocabulary.
It makes it sound a lot smarter, doesn't it?
Well, it's not that it makes you sound smarter. It just makes it sound less mean.
Well, I was going to say, considering what some of these people at Crunchyroll look like, and keep in mind that they're based in California, you kind of know what types these people are.
Well, we already know about the whole.
But that doesn't mean their parent company is necessarily.
Oh, that's right. They're owned by someone higher.
Yeah, because they got a parent company now. So
which is Elation, by the way, the company we were talking about earlier.
Elation, the people who posted that Medium article at the technical article describing the whole thing about Verve and whatnot. Verve is also their product. So and anyone who doesn't already understand, Crunchyroll isn't like the plucky, like sort of fly by the seat of your pants anime company anymore. They have a parent company now, and they're beholden to that parent company. Which isn't to say this is inherently good or bad.
It's just the truth.
Neutral. This is just what's going on now.
It's just the facts, man.
Yeah, and possibly as a result of that, we get situations like this where they're going on and making mistakes in their encoding, which to me says something that, number one, they let it go on for that long without looking at it and say, hey, maybe we should take a look at this. And number two, that they even made that mistake in the first place, that mistake was even allowed to be made in the first place. But that's another situation entirely.
Right. So basically, it really does look like someone or some people are really incompetent, or they just tried to pull a fast one and they were immediately caught.
Yeah.
And they didn't expect that to happen and are trying to scramble. Didn't even probably have a backup plan. So kind of a collective
subscriber starts going down, then I think they're really
collective shitting of the pants, as they say.
Oh yeah, because I mean, it's like, hey, realistically, I really don't blame anyone who canceled their subscription over this.
Oh no, for the same reason that
it shows a level of incompetence. It's like if they're willing to not have enough oversight in their engineering to not have this kind of mistake happen and not serve people lower quality product, I don't blame people for jumping ship in that way.
Here's the other thing. There seems to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you guys have noticed this too, but like at the very top of some of these places and some of the PR people and whatnot, there seems to be this really big chasm or disconnect between the roots of this, of everything, like fan subs and all that, and these business people.
I've been saying for a bit.
For like you can't bullshit people who used to basically the equivalency of having pen pals over there sending them shitty 5th generation VHS.
Yeah, it's like so much of modern anime commentary, like modern anime fandom commentary now, seems to be let's completely forget about all the really crazy passionate people who built this fandom.
Many of whom are still here. Because they're that passionate. And they're going to call you out on every bullshit kind of thing you do.
They have a laser focus on what these people are doing. And honestly, considering what's gone on in the past couple years with some of these companies, they have every responsibility to do that. They should be doing that, and it's correct for them to do that, in my opinion.
It's kind of like how the press is supposed to keep government in check, but
right.
They don't.
But they're not.
Yeah, but they never do because they're too busy trying to blame Russia and so forth. Anyway,
yeah. In any case, Next story.
So this one ain't going to be any better.
No. This is what I'm particularly upset about. So back on the, I believe it was the 7th of March, but the tweets have been deleted, so we can't actually be sure when they were doing this. But Funimation ran a promotional campaign for their release of Sekai Ichi Hatsukoi. And what they did basically was have some of their staffers tell stories about their embarrassing Fujoshi moments with the hashtag Fujoshi Life. A couple examples are going up in the IRC shortly.
Right.
But basically, so this one here, after my senior year in college, I binged all of Sekai Ichi Hatsukoi and Junjo Romantica in 3 days. I lived on fruit cups, popcorn, and drove to the Taco Bell that was literally walking distance away. Hashtag Fujoshi trash. That was from personal production.
Now, see, things like this are relatively amusing.
Hashtag Fujoshi Life. I used my husband's iPad to catch up on some boys love manga. Unfortunately, the site I used wasn't very wholesome, and when he accidentally opened the tab at work, it was instantly blocked and reported to security. I can't use his iPad anymore.
Okay, I'll do one. Okay, 3 words. Funimation, ship wars. It's not a pretty site. Design marketing, copywriting.
So it was this fun little funny thing where people were counting their experiences as passionate fans.
Right. But no, couldn't do that.
Nope.
There was a ridiculous backlash, I guess is the right word.
There was a backlash, yeah, and it was quite ridiculous. So on the 9th of March,
when you hear about these things, like you hear about first world problems and you hear about like inconsequential shit, this is exactly what people are talking about.
Exactly.
This stuff is completely fucking ridiculous.
We got this tweet from Funimation. In regards to hashtag Fujoshi Life, we recently shared anecdotes from our employees, straight and LGBTQ alike, who genuinely love shows that I'm going to read this in the tone in which it was presented. We recently shared anecdotes from our employees, straight and LGBTQ alike, who genuinely love shows that provide more representation. While our aim was to celebrate and support this content, intention doesn't always equal actuality. And we inadvertently perpetuated some harmful stereotypes. For that, we want to apologize. We're extremely grateful to all our fans who expressed their concerns and sparked a very important discussion. We want to continue to listen, grow, and embrace diversity. It was not our intention to hurt anyone, and we want you to know that we see you, we love you, and we absolutely think that you are valid. Thank you, Funimation.
Everything about this, just first off, any company out there, this looks like a stock thing they have ready to go at any time.
When they caught with their pants down.
It was caught with their pants. Well, realistically, they weren't doing anything wrong. We'll get into that.
This was just a bunch of ass hurt people.
So it was this thing. It was this thing, and what it looks like to me is okay. Holy shit! A bunch of people are bitching at us on Twitter about this thing that we did for our promotional campaign. We better write up something quick, and better delete those tweets and write up something quick so it doesn't look like we're telling our fans to fuck off.
Yeah, and even the choices of wording just scream,
standard business apology.
And holy shit, somebody needs to sedate the Tumblr. Placate.
Yeah. So what happened was they got a whole bunch of whining on Twitter about them, quote, fetishizing gay relationships, unquote.
Because anime never does that.
No one ever does that in anime.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous.
Anyway, in a move surprising exactly nobody, AniFem decided to comment on it.
I didn't even bother reading that because I wanted to keep my brain cells still above, you know, if I'm gonna kill brain cells, I at least want to get completely fucking drunk.
So it goes on like this. Last week, Funimation started a new marketing campaign for yaoi anime Sekaiichi Hatsukoi by asking Boys Love fans and their staff to talk about their Fujoshi life mishaps, blah, 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 blah. LGBTQ, and I have some examples here. LGBTQ plus fans objected, and Funimation ended the campaign offering a sincere apology. In an industry where, as we have previously discussed, it is easy to sidestep or defer accountability, Funimation choosing to take a public stance in support of their queer customers deserves to be acknowledged. However, this is a complicated issue which stirred up mixed feelings in feminists and allies. On the one hand, yaoi presents a romanticized and commercialized image of queer men for the consumption of straight audiences. Funimation were, from the most clinical perspective, leveraging that image for profit. A hashtag Fujoshi Life hashtag implies only women were asked about this, whether true or not, appearing to invite only women to talk about their experience of texts featuring exclusively queer male characters is not a good look. Ultimately, LGBTQ plus fans were upset. When marginalized people are hurt by your actions, you stop immediately and commit to do better, even if you don't necessarily understand or agree straight away. On the other hand, women's hobbies and interests are often sidelined and overlooked, while marketing campaigns targeting straight men who like cute anime girls have been completely accepted for some time. That's a lie. It's hard to imagine a similar outcry for a hashtag Otaku Life hashtag, featuring anecdotes similar to those above. Fujoshi make up a large and increasing segment of the market, paying big money for anime and related merchandise. It would be odd for a commercial company to not cater to them in some way. The anecdotes shared were more focused on self-deprecating Fujoshi than on fetishizing queer men. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, considering how many of them I know they're nothing like you AniFem idiots.
Yeah. Which we'll go into in a bit after this one article. Final point. Queer men read yaoi too, even queer Japanese men. Funimation was undoubtedly right to take the action they took and stand publicly on the side of their LGBTQ plus customers. However, Boys Love fans are a huge part of the anime fandom, mostly women, and many queer themselves. How can companies like Funimation represent these voices in a way that is sensitive to queer people who find yaoi demeaning? How could they have run a campaign for yaoi anime as problematic as Sekaiichi Hatsukoi in a way that would have been received more positively?
Really simple. If you don't like something, don't buy it or look at it.
It's so stupid, and this is some shit I have no respect for.
No, it's bullshit.
Really?
It's like what you're basically saying is you can't. What about people who don't think this should exist?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, what the fuck? They're a business. What are they going to do? Well, you're right. I guess we'll stop selling it. I mean,
no, go fuck yourself. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And,
holy shit.
And what it really comes down to is, and realistically, I'm not mad at Funimation for pulling the thing, because I can understand because they're basically getting a whole bunch of people yelling at them, and they don't want to look like they're telling their consumer base to fuck off. I understand that.
Even though they have done it before.
Even though there are ongoing problems with Funimation, and I quite honestly wonder why we're gonna focus on this shit when, to my knowledge, they haven't fixed the Maid Dragon thing yet, and we've had radio silence on that, and we're probably not going to hear about that until the release, like we did with Prison School. But going back to the point, this is a fandom problem. We have the whole bunch of people in this fandom who are basically just A-okay with telling people, oh, you can telling people you liking what you like is wrong and you shouldn't like it. And being enthusiastic about it is wrong. I don't like it, and it's evil. You're fetishizing gay relationships. These are cartoon. It's a fucking anime. It's a cartoon character. What are we do? What are you doing? What are we doing?
It's already
when we're at this point where they're fetishizing gay relationships. Oh, go and mind you, these are the same people who are always mewling about representation. So when we get a show that's got gay characters in it, now we can't like it, because if we like it in the wrong way, that's going to offend them too. You can't make these people happy. It's impossible.
No, it's impossible. It's designed to be that way. Here's my advice for people who find themselves in this situation. Tell them to fuck off. Simple as that. They're not gonna. You're never. Nothing you do will be good enough. They will not accept any apologies. And should you piss them off, they will sick their hounds on you. So my point is, just tell them to go fucking suck an exhaust pipe, and let it be done.
I just can't understand. This is a mindset I can't fathom. This is a mindset I respect so little that I can't even begin to understand how people would arrive at that conclusion. Where do you get off telling people what to enjoy? And this is the same.
They want the Ministry of Culture, yo.
Well, yeah, realistically, they just want anime for themselves. They just want anime to be their little medium where they can go on and say, oh, well, their little progressive enclave where they can go on and say, oh, well, we need some gay characters and we need some black characters and all this bullshit. When
God, remember all those black battalions in medieval Poland?
Oh yeah. It's stupid bullshit.
It's pretty nonsense.
I have no respect for. And this is why it was so easy, because I went in on this hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
You want to,
and I helped.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get Drawing Girl in the IRC. They want every anime to be Steven Universe.
Ew.
And it's really telling how a lot of these people are Yuri on Ice people.
It's so progressive, Yuri on Ice. Look how progressive it is.
Did you just say Yui on Ice?
Yuri on Ice.
Yeah, I guess it's hilarious K-on visual of her just kind of drinking liquor and it's on ice.
Oh. No, I was thinking more Yui on skate on ice.
It's like what are we doing? Are we supporting female fans, or are we not supporting?
But Sakura trick is this is fetishization.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay.
Do we like female fans or not? Because right now you're telling a bunch of female fans that the way they like their media is wrong. Just fundamentally wrong.
Vice had one of their video article. They had a piece. They had one about female fans of Sailor Moon growing up. It was I think it was called Sailor Moon Saved My Life.
Okay. I mean that's cool in the gang, but first off, if your life was saved by Sailor Moon.
Something like that.
What was going on?
Oh, because it's so progressive.
No, it isn't. fucking
for little girls.
Fucking Tuxedo Common has to save the day most of the time.
It's
I love how there was just this completely fucking dead silence when I said that.
But
I'm looking it up.
That's just some shit don't respect. It's like,
That's it.
Okay, so yeah, wait, hang on. So when Moe fans,
I got
say,
it.
When three Moe fans, by the way, was not a widespread issue, not the kind of widespread issue that would cause this sort of backlash. But when a few Moe fans say, I don't appreciate Kiyoani doing a Fujoshi-based show, we have to light the signal fires, mobilize the army. We need to defend the Fujoshi right now.
Wait. First two.
But when offended people, when a bunch of people with a stick up their ass about anime say,
which is a lot of them, surprisingly.
Yeah, say we don't appreciate the fetishization of gay couples, and Fujoshi do that all the time. That's okay.
So gay porn's out.
Yeah. So this is a very curious disconnect to me, and it just comes back to this mentality I have no respect for. Where if you're gonna try and tell people how to engage with their media that they pay for, that they buy, that they hold in their storage devices, that they have on their bookshelf, listen. You don't pay for my Crunchyroll subscription. Fuck off. If I want to,
that's another thing.
If I want to watch Gundam: The Origin Episode 3 and ship Char and Karma hard, if you want to stop me from doing that, good luck.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's like there seems to be this mentality where some people think like our personal spending money is like a collective like pool that we're taking out of their stash or something.
Yeah.
Like I know that sounds ridiculous because it is fucking ridiculous. And it's just like, hey, if I want to spend X amount of money on figures or looking at anime smut or whatever, that's my business.
And you know what? More power to them. I hope that this Sekaiichi Hatsukoi sells gangbusters for Funimation just to spite these people. Just so we can again reinforce you're not going to win against passion. This passion never wins against passion. You're not going to win against whatever these idiots endgame is. You're not gonna trying to secure anime as this progressive outpost or some bullshit like that.
I mean, like they try to do with gaming and comics.
Yeah, and got stomped in the face for it in gaming at least. But you can't do that when people are out there spending money on the stuff they enjoy.
All right.
Sorry.
Wait. I wanted to say first two things. One, okay, get ready to cringe because I found what it was called. All right, you're holding down. You're sitting down for this one.
Of course, I'm sitting down.
Sitting.
Well, okay. Well,
yeah, I'm gonna do the podcast standing.
How Sailor Moon transformed queer '90s kids' lives.
What's funny about that is Naoko would probably be like, "What the fuck is this person on about?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking show
for little girls.
It's not like it was made for logo or some shit.
Actually, she hates the fact that there's like doujins and such. So not even otaku.
Fine. I'll go buy some Black Dog doujins. Yeah. Fuck you.
What was I gonna say? So you're saying about there might be the one or two fans that might complain, but like about free.
Yeah. So when the free commercial dropped, and 3 people complained about that, but they had to blow that out of proportion because it's always expedient to come to the defense of Fujoshi when they're being attacked, regardless of the magnitude of said attack. But whenever people shit on Moe fans, you never see that kind of defense.
Well, no,
it happened with Yuri on Ice.
All right. Well, put it this way. You know me to be a big fan of Idolmaster, and guess what? I have absolutely no problem. And in fact, I'm awaiting when Side M comes out. Side M is all
DZ,
male idols, by the way.
That's normal people. That's normal
normal people. Normal people. Us who like Futanari.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Show the
But
trap.
That's the majority of people.
And tentacle butt pounding.
It's not the 3 people who complained about the free commercial, or it's not the 5 people, the 2 people, the 4 people who complained about Yuri on Ice.
Well, it's like this. You'll remember this.
Yeah.
Remember when Free came out and there was this big hullabaloo on the ANN forums? I only remember because somebody linked me to it.
I remember because I was involved in that hullabaloo.
There was like 3 people that were bitching about it, like you said.
Yep.
And those 3 people were threatened to be banned.
Yeah. Those 3 people were
now if you were to
shunned by the rest of the community. They were not. That was not appreciated when that came out.
However, if you were to go on rambling about how, creepy men like in Cardcaptor Sakura and stuff like that, people would join in and give you a pat on the back.
Yeah. Imagine that.
And fuck those creepy dudes. It's funny to me, and yet at the same time, it's kind of infuriating.
It's this entire thing where, and
it's a double standard, is what it is.
You never see these established companies, ANN, Crunchyroll, etc. You never see these people go to bat for Moe fans.
Ever.
No.
When was the last time you've seen these people go to bat for Moe fans? In the same way they will go to bat for Fujoshi when they're being hated on. And again, rightfully so, because that's some bullshit too. I wrote an article on that.
Right. And again, not defending any of this behavior. Hey,
no.
Plenty of fans are fucking assholes.
Yeah. Plenty of fans are assholes.
From every nook and cranny.
There's plenty of Moe fans that I absolutely would not associate with because they're just jackasses.
I'll give you a primary example.
Those are people who hate on Fujoshi. I don't tolerate that. I don't have any respect for that.
Give you a primary example. My girlfriend was posting lewds of K-On! Characters. And some people basically gave her shit for it. No, you can't do that. They're too pure. And I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
It's the same as this Fujoshi life shit.
Black time.
Well, I don't think they've read any doujins of K on the beginning. They're all rape, pretty much.
But they're not gonna. These people. It's the exact same thing as this Fujoshi life thing. They have this stick up their ass where they think they can police how other people enjoy their media.
Well, the thing is the current climate basically tells them they can.
Yeah. Especially when they can legitimately get Funimation to do this kind of thing. Which again, I think Funimation made the right choice because it was either that or look like you're telling a great deal of your fan base
demographic to piss off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Of course, that didn't matter when that didn't matter, of course, when people had, complaints about shit like the prison school thing. Then it was just like a canned, like, these people are just a bunch of babies and.
Well, then it's like, let's just let our translator, scriptwriter, whoever, run buck wild and insult the people who went on to say, hey, I don't like this translation for this, and this reason. This and this legitimate reason. Can we do something about this? No, they're man babies. They're all this really childish bullshit, by the way.
A goofy looking fuck who has mutton chops, by the way.
So that's what I'm saying is you never see any of these companies go to bat for Moe fans in the same way they always go to bat for Fujoshi. And Drawing Girl in the IRC says it straight up. Let's face it, it's sexist.
Yeah, but see, you can't use that term anymore because they've succeeded in creating different terminology for some of this stuff. They've made it to where it's like it's like derp plus privilege plus power plus hair gel equals ass rape. I don't know.
So
it's stupid. They're not operating on the definitions of words as we've known them for decades.
Right. So that's the whole thing. And here's what gets me about this. So I'm the Task Force Moe guy, and I write this article because I see something going on that I think is harmful to the anime community. And I write this article. It's called "Fujoshi Are Not the Enemy."
Yeah, I remember. It was one of your more popular ones.
Yeah, and I do that because not because it's something to help out Moe fans. In fact, I was calling Moe fans out for leveling this sort of hostility against people we should really be banding together with. So this is an instance where I stand to lose social capital with the people I ostensibly am trying to gain social capital with.
But then you got these people. Then you got these people, the ones that are making such a big deal about all this. There's an old phrasing called fostering the divide. And I believe that really is kind of what they're doing here. Where there is no real divide, they're making an artificial one.
Yeah.
And basically trying to widen it as much as they can for the purposes of clickbait and so forth.
We don't like Moe fans because we think they're misogynist, we think they're sexist, we think they're conservatives, we think they're
creepy,
whatever bad thing we can
degenerate.
do. Yeah,
whatever horrible, deplorable,
whatever
deplorable
bad word we can call them to justify us hating them. So we don't like them for ostensibly that reason. But we also like Fujoshi for some reason, even though Fujoshi do the same thing Moe fans do. But we need to defend women in the fandom. We need to defend women in the anime fandom, even though this fandom is one of the most egalitarian in geek culture. Even though if you go back in the history of Comiket and whatnot, male attendance had to increase to reach the level of parity we're at now with Comiket. It began as 90% female. So even though we're perpetuating all these lies about fandom, we still have we have successfully created this perception that it's really, really difficult for fans for female anime fans, when realistically what the people it's really, really difficult for are anime fans who make the entire thing about their identity.
Yeah,
which is how we get this Fujoshi life thing.
Right. It's absolutely basically it's a group of people that they're not just fans, that everything that they're into or everything about them has to conform to this fucking like childish sort of identity politics shit. Basically, It's like if it doesn't, it's problematic, and it either needs to go away or be subverted.
It's problematic, and it needs to go away, and the people who like it need to go away.
Yeah, and I hate to tell you, but that's like walking into a viper's nest.
Yeah.
You're not coming out.
It's like this is something I can't fathom. Is something I don't respect, because I come from the school of seek first to understand, then to be understood. Like there's no way I could envision myself rolling up into a community and trying to run shit.
And I think that's, I mean, you'll see a pattern that this is how a lot of this is actually happening. They get their foot in the door, and then they slowly, just like a good virus, try to spread and infect their host.
Yeah.
And basically try to churn out more good little viruses. I mean, pardon the analogy, but it really does feel like that. I mean, because you can look at it, you can see it. There was the atheist community. There was comics. There's video games.
Shot through the atheist community.
Yeah, yeah. But by the way, they fucked that up bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still intact, but Now, that being said, I mean, to be fair, I always thought the idea of an atheist community was kind of sort of double-edged.
Yeah, it's always a weird thing for me to have to say.
Yeah, because it's like, you don't really have anything in common other than the fact that you don't believe in a higher power.
Why do you need a community around that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the men's rights thing. Good for you, yeah, whatever. But why does there have to be like picnics and shit and like?
I mean, that
that
I can understand more because that's a movement and they're trying to establish political change and whatnot. But
no, I should go on record. I am not an MRA or any
none of us
here
are.
being in that. No, I mean, I have a couple of friends that kind of lean that way, but I don't hang out with them because of that.
Yeah. But that's my whole thing. It's like, come in, try to run shit, and get surprised when people are put off by that. Get surprised when people who fled to geek culture to get away from basically people trying to run shit on them, get put off by that. Like, you get surprised when you no desire to understand, but you want to change things to accommodate you. Get surprised when the people who built this culture get put off by that. So it's something I have no respect for. Any of these people who are on this Furushi life thing, trying to control what other people do and don't say with regard to yaoi anime, it's bullshit, and I have no respect for it. I just don't. Which is why I'm so okay with just making fun of it, taking the piss out of it, because it's stupid.
Okay, here's a couple of good points. A lot of otaku have to thank a certain woman for tropes in their beloved moe anime. Well, certainly.
Yeah.
If you read like the Moe Manifesto, you'll see that there's a lot more of that.
Women are very, very involved in anime, especially modern anime.
Yeah, and even more classic stuff. I mean, you had, like, again, the example here, Rumiko Takahashi.
Yep.
Also, anything that Akemi Takada had her character design.
Sure. Okay, and another thing, we got another comment. MRAs are fine when they're not engaging in Islam apologia. No, I don't think they're okay. I think they're annoying a lot of the time. But, I mean, I can get on with them okay as long as they like keep it in check. But that's about anybody, really.
Yeah.
And
this whole thing goes back to the last episode we did, where if you feel a desperate need to insert your socio-political leanings into your anime fandom, you're going to have a bad time.
Oh yeah, you're going to see bad things occur. And the proof of this is when you get people that are kind of trying to hijack it. I mean, some of them are entertaining in kind of a what the fuck are they on about kind of way, like the anime right. I mean, I can't even take them seriously.
Oh my god, there's an anime right now?
There's a website.
Oh.
Really? I thought it was just a Twitter thing.
No, there's a website. I checked it out.
Oh,
it's actually really funny. You got to go there.
But
No. It's really funny. It reminds you of like Clickhole or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's really fucking funny. I mean, I don't know if it was supposed to be funny. I mean, a part of me thinks it was.
Also, watch Anyfem or someone get
try to drag it into like this serious thing.
Yeah, try to make something out of it, out of the anime, right?
You ever think that things are just a fucking joke? I mean, first off, the idea of white nationalist anime fans are kind of funny if you really think about it.
Yes,
because it's like you realize this is really, really fucking stupid on several levels. First off, anime is not exactly a white thing, despite what you've heard.
I didn't know if you knew this.
But Japan,
Japanese people make anime.
and Japanese people, not exactly considered Caucasians.
Well, the other thing is,
unless you're one of these nutbags who consider them like to be Schrodinger's white people or some shit.
Wait, no, unless you're Talib Kweli. And
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Okay, so riddle me this, and then we'll go to the break. Riddle me this. So I'm looking.
riddle me that.
I'm on Twitter, and suddenly I see this whole thing like Talib Kweli in anime. I'm like, huh? So, and it leads to this whole interview with DJ Vlad, and DJ Vlad's this person in the hip hop community who basically does a whole lot of interviews with different personalities in the hip hop community. And
Right.
this whole YouTube video, and it's not like it transitions into this, like DJ Vlad's like, so what's your take on anime? And this at this point, this is surreal to me, because I'm thinking, why is Talib Kweli talking about anime? And especially why is DJ Vlad asking Talib Kweli about anime?
It's like, did you lose a bet?
It's like, these are two things. It's like, how does it get to this point? How does this even happen?
Hey, how about the Samuel L. Jackson thing though?
Oh
That was hilarious.
That was fucking
realistic,
funny.
because a lot of people don't seem to remember. Of course he likes anime. He did Afro Samurai.
Yeah.
Hentai too.
Yeah.
That was great.
So I'm like, why is and realistically, if you want someone to talk about anime, if you want someone to talk about anime on DJ Vlad, and like the only qualifications are they're black and can rap, listen, I have one rhyme. Let me talk about anime. I guarantee you, I know more about anime than Talib does. Not to shit on him. I like his music. But I guarantee you I know more about anime than Talib Kweli does.
So
I always thought it'd be funny if they had Dave Chappelle on there.
Certainly more than Max Vader, who's also black.
So it's like it's just weird. That was just weird and surreal to me. But that's the whole thing. People carrying their identity into anime with them. It's stupid. It's stupid. All it does is bring people down, and it really doesn't do anything for anybody. All it does is make, and this is something I'm just wholeheartedly against. It makes people feel bad for liking what they like.
It's like, didn't we have enough of this shit years ago?
Like I thought we were done with this. I thought the entire mentality of doing all this identity stuff was, hey, like, for example, women are being made to feel bad for liking what they like, so let's fix that. LGBT people are made to feel bad for liking what they like, so let's fix that. But now we got to get this stuff that where now some LGBT people, some stupid LGBT people are feeling bad because other people like stuff. And number one, if you feel bad because other people like stuff, that's your fault. I'm sorry. If you feel bad because Joey Joe Bob likes strike witches,
Joey Joe.
what did you do to yourself?
How
does that happen?
Shabadoo.
Dude
That's the
cries and runs. That's the worst name I've ever heard. A dude just starts crying and runs out of the bar. Fucking funny.
Joey Jojo.
So if you're mad because Crazy Joe Otaku likes, I don't know, a run high school host club, what did you do to yourself to make yourself that way? Because that's something you did. Normal people don't get mad except for the Anti-Moe Brigade. Normal people don't get mad because Kate, the Fujoshi, likes Junjo Romantica. Like no real regular anime fans don't care.
Kate likes this something bait.
Yeah, so it's like what did you do to yourself to make yourself so to make yourself so outraged about this sort of thing?
I mean, I don't get it. Other than like a snarky kind of wisecrack or something like that, I don't understand the mentality of people that like need communities and stuff just to start shit. I mean, okay, I kind of do. I mean, I was 15 once, but but a lot of these people are fucking in their 30s and I just don't understand it. It's like, don't you have a life of some kind?
And this is what it comes back to for me, at least. You're in the fandom about watching fucking cartoons.
Yeah. Wow.
You're in the fandom about we in a different world. We could all be this mad about Dexter's Lab. Now, take that.
You'd be mad too if you had to put up with Dee Dee's bullshit.
Seriously, but take that and think about that for a second.
What does this button do?
We're basically all getting really mad about cow and chicken.
Can't even say that.
This is just animation.
How can you say that with a straight face?
Doesn't that sound stupid when you say it out loud?
Well, also because the name of the show is Cow and Chicken.
Take that and just replace it with any anime because it's basically the same thing. It's all animation. There's no fundamental difference other than the fact that it's Japanese. Well,
clearly, if you like, I don't know, Shuffle or something, you're on the verge of patrolling a elementary school. Obviously,
of course.
But then these same people will turn around and then bitch about people doing the violent video game argument.
Yeah, so
it's completely different somehow.
What it comes down to is I don't like this thing, and I have to come up with reasons I don't like this thing, so it looks like that thing is objectively bad, rather than I just don't like it.
I just have a giant fucking phallic thing in my butt.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta stick up my ass, and because I'm having a hard time with the stick, now I have to give everyone else a hard time.
Hey, well, that being said, these people, the ones we were kind of talking about in the Fujoshi life, the ones throwing a fit, they do have a stick up their ass, but there are people that get mad if you try to. There are people that want you to take it out gently for them, and then put it back in.
Oh yeah, and realistically, they're fine with the stick up their ass. Because it lets them, it
makes them sit up straight,
gives them justification in their own mind about getting mad about stuff that really isn't worth getting mad about.
Well,
because remember, these are the same people who constantly hand-wring about representation. Well, so when we get it, you're not allowed to like it because now you're fetishizing it.
Well, they're pressure.
I'll jerk off to what I want. Give me kiss my ass.
That's gonna be the title. Seriously, but it reminds me. It's like professional complainers like Rush Limbaugh. It's kind of what they are, really. Except he actually makes money.
Like I said, hey. Affiliating is a bad idea unless you're making money off of it.
I mean, you can complain about him all you want. You can think he's a piece of crap, but you can't deny he's making money.
Hey, scoreboard.
I don't like him myself. I mean, I can't because you can tell.
I'm not a fan.
No, it's
but
like
I respect that he's prolific though. I respect he's making that money
there every day. Yeah, like people like him or Mark Levin or whatever that are just. It's manufactured outrage. It's entertainment.
Yeah,
people are missing that. I think these people. Put it this way: how the fuck did Seth MacFarlane get along with him? You know what I mean? That you couldn't have two more ideologically different people.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet they both apparently have hung out numerous times. And at least according to a thing I saw, he said he was actually pretty nice in real life. Which
perhaps, and this is something you see everywhere. Perhaps anyone who's successful, anyone who does that sort of act, that sort of outrage thing, and is successful, is actually a pretty decent person like face to face.
to me, it's almost like Lewis Black when he's going on his tirades.
Yeah.
I don't think he does that in real life.
And then contrast that with the people who do that habitually, and that seems to be their only gear.
Yeah,
Often
they're like Charlie Sheen. They have only one gear. Go.
Yeah, because
I sent you a little surprise.
Yeah, I saw it. So because you can look at that and say, they look at people like Rush or any of these other pundits who make their money by complaining. They look at that and say, I can do that, but they don't understand that that's not the entirety of the success model. They don't understand
the thing is,
part of it is being a decent person. Part of it is treating people well. Part of it is being the kind of person you would want to associate with, and not just within your little clique of people who are also like you, who are also shitty people, but in the greater scheme of things. Like, you guys have talked to me off of this podcast. Do I fly off the handle? Occasionally, but I'm not.
Depends on if we're talking about Infinite Stratos.
Well, yeah, I just think Infinite Stratos is bad, but you guys have talked to me off of this podcast.
What happened?
I'm not this kind of
Tekken.
Yeah, well, Tekken's also bad too.
Tekken's a berserk button. Just keep that in mind if you want to email troll him.
So,
or the Methis.
Or the Methis. So I've got quite a few things to set me off, but it's this whole thing where I don't rage like I do on this podcast in real life. I don't do that. I don't extend that out to not even on Twitter. I don't extend that out to other spaces besides this podcast. I do it here partially because this just comes natural as an effect of being on air, partially because I know that people enjoy it and it's a good way to get my point across in this medium.
Well,
but the success model isn't just be an a-hole and rant all the time and be an a-hole. I need to get that as the drop in.
Yeah,
for
seriously.
context. Drawing girl in LRC. What? You heard?
What?
But the success model that I understand isn't just be an a-hole all the time. I'm not. If I do say so myself, I'm actually a pretty pleasant person to be around.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. My character, if you will, on here, it's actually not really a character. I'm just being myself for the most part. I mean, occasionally I embellish things, and in all honesty, I'm actually probably less PC in real life than I am on here.
I'm all real.
Let's just say epithets and things fly a lot more when I'm not on here.
I'm all real here.
But I think one of the things that we're seeing here is that people don't have friends and family, or they probably have family, but they don't have friends and acquaintances that have vastly different views than they do.
No, of course not, because these people can't tolerate that.
And that's
people
weird
are assholes
to me.
Naturally.
And that's just weird to me, because like ever since I've been like a little kid, 6 years old or something, I've had friends that come from vastly different, backgrounds and stuff than me. Religious people, really very socialist oriented people, although to be fair, I think they're wrong, but that's besides the point.
But see, guys, that's the problem. See, us on this podcast, we come from actual backgrounds.
The streets. I'm kidding. No, yeah. Dirty streets.
We come from the kind of backgrounds where you see a diverse set of people, and it's like, hey, I might be wrong, but looking at the mentality suggests that these people come from very homogenous backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you another example. Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's that they forcibly only hang out with people that either agree with them or nod their head to them.
Well, yeah, because they haven't grown up with a diversity of viewpoints and a diversity of perspectives.
No, I mean, like
But look
one
how diverse I am. See?
one of my good buddies.
They only care about superficial diversity.
Watch me race bend Sailor Moon characters and Love Life characters on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, like one of my good buddies, for example, super Donald Trump, wears the Make America Great Again hat, reads InfoWars and whatnot. Good buddies with him. We have all kinds of funny comments. You know why? Because we have more in common than fucking just little things like that.
Exactly.
We both like certain kinds of food. I mean, we both like to make fun of fucking, I don't know, skateboard videos, and you know what I mean? I'm flailing for words and shit here, but I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
We're a fan of video games or watching just really ridiculous shit. These things rarely even come up amongst us.
Exactly. Because
and when they do, it's just a matter of, okay, I agree to disagree or something like that.
Yeah.
And it moves on. It never goes beyond that. There's no yelling match. There's no, I'm not your friend anymore. You're an idiot.
Yeah, that's some stupid shit.
I can't wrap my head around that.
It's what happens when you and to bring us to the break. This is the kind of thing that happens when you're basically your entire mentality is based in this identity stuff where I am a conservative, I am a liberal, I am gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever, and like that's
I am unamused.
Yeah, that's what you are. And
poly
science.
And they put that like on their Tumblr or whatnot. Like they have to advertise it, or their Twitter. They have to like just put it there.
And that's where we get this Fujoshi life from. It's from people who, and I wish we could go back to this paradigm, from people who identify themselves by who they are, quote unquote, because no one can take that away from them, rather than what they actually do and what value they provide to people. With that, we're up against the break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. Hit that button. Thank you. Let's go with.
Do we have mail?
I think he said he's got something. Plus, I've got a story I've been meaning to tell him for a while.
Yeah, I do have an article in the absence of mail, which we do not have.
My story will take 10 minutes tops, if that.
Let me get this article up.
Serious, I think that should be the episode title. Jerk off to whatever I want, kiss my ass.
Whatever I want, kiss my ass.
Like, comma, kiss my ass. Or semicolon, kiss my ass. Make it look like one of those DBZ titles.
That's the one. Yeah, for some reason I never saved this article, so I need to do that.
Okay.
Hit the archive site.
I guess I got to give you some background so you'll understand the hilarity a little more. This was basically, let's just say, let me think of how to kind of word this. I call it the UFO story, and it is funny in and of itself, but my reaction was pretty funny too, apparently. I've told this to 6 different people, and they've all lost their shit. So maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I don't know. Knowing what I know about you, I think you'll get a good laugh out of it.
What's that from?
This is from. I actually don't know what it's from, quote unquote. Like
It's
what
just
the
pleasant.
what the sample is from, but it's a song called "Selfish High Heels" from an artist called Young Bay.
Ah, okay.
Oh, did you guys see the ridiculous Kill la Kill shit that was floating around?
Nope.
Oh, I'm glad. You're probably glad you didn't. It was basically talking about how it was like some kind of feminist icon shit.
Oh, so
heard that before.
half of the conversation regarding Kill la Kill going around while that was airing.
Yeah, but then the people complaining about how it actually is extremely problematic and whatnot. These
So
two,
the other half of the conversation that was going around Kill la Kill while it
two
was
sides of the idiot coin. It was really entertaining because you got the one side who thinks it's this thing that it's actually clearly not. That they're trying to, I don't know, appropriate maybe would be the right word. And then you got the other side who are arguing with them, and I don't know which one of these two are dumber. It's like watching two football teams you don't like,
Yeah, exactly.
and you don't really care who wins because you hope they all eat it in a bus wreck on the way there. That's actually, I stole that from one of my uncles. Nah, he used to say shit like that. I hope the Dallas Cowboys playing plummets. You know, sports fans can be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you want to go with your story first, or do you think, or I should, because mine is not serious, clearly not. So do you want it to go in on a smart note, or me making an ass out of myself? Either way is good.
Let's lead off with your story.
Yeah, it's not very long. You might want to get the drop in button ready, or the drop in keys ready to roll.
Roger.
Because I have a feeling you'll understand. Well, you'll understand when I tell it.
Just write down this number.
8675. No. No, I mean, I don't understand that. I got friends from across the board, and as long as they can intelligently defend their viewpoint to an extent, or just they just don't bring it up in common, courtesy.
Yeah, exactly.
Never had a problem. Now, granted, I think some things are fucking ridiculous, like, oh, everything should be free, and then try to give some dumb argument about how capitalism's evil, or, probably not going to get along with them.
Yeah.
I'm a Marxist feminist.
Well, of course. Is there any other kind?
All right. Ready on third segment.
Give me money. Even though I'm from an upper middle class.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Welcome back to NTR Radio.
It's story
We
time.
don't have mail, but K-Gods has story time.
I do. And Anubis has apparently something he wants to add that is probably almost assuredly non-related.
It's not related to the news, but it is something it's something interesting and kind of peculiar. Well, no. When you see where it's from, you're gonna be
not peculiar.
It's not gonna look very peculiar, but we'll figure that out later. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I was going to the doctor for like a regular checkup, you got to go like once or twice a year, for physical and all that crap. Anyway, whatever. I'm driving down the road and I've got talk radio on, all right? And they got these two guys and
NTR Radio.
No, these two guys
Listen to our own show.
Yeah, sure we do. There was two guys and some chick, all right? And they were kind of doing like a round table, discussion about stuff. And the leadoff guy was talking about UFOs. He's like, do any of you guys, believe in UFOs? And they're just kind of like not shaking their head like, no, and he's just like, no, me either. And then he was talking about how ever since 1950, there have been more and more sightings like every year than the previous one, right? All right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In recordings, and they got them by state. and some states are much more populous with sightings than others. Okay, fair enough. This all just sounds like typical bullshit, kind of stuff they'll be yammering about on talk radio, right?
Right.
Okay. And the second guy asks him, he goes, can we cross-reference those states with the most sightings with the states that have legalized pot? Which was making me laugh pretty hard. And I was like, that was great.
That's clever.
That was fantastic.
That's a hot take.
No, it gets better. There's something way funnier coming than that. And he goes, and the original guy, pops off and says, can you imagine working the phones at those places? Like, at these like UFO reporting centers. And it's like, can you imagine what a day is like there? It's never dull. You know that. and I was snickering thinking, yeah, I mean, it's got to be fun in sort of a what the hell kind of way. But then he's like, okay, we're going to open the lines and have anybody call us with their UFO story, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can see where this is going. Yeah, so the first guy comes on, and he is completely sounds batshit. I mean, like, totally fucking, like, wearing a tinfoil hat in broad daylight in their yard,
right.
And he tells them, well, hang on, we got another call. We're going to set you on hold. And so he does. He puts him on hold. And then he plays the Merry Melodies theme. And I about swerved into the fucking ditch. Because I'm sitting there, it's like, dun, 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 and I just started laughing and lost control of the wheel. Because I just thought, he set you up so bad for that. That was terrible. But yeah, that's what was cracking me up. I had to pull over and kind of get the laugh out of my system before I could, continue going on. It caught me completely off guard. Yeah, so that's the UFO story. And apparently somebody found, I mean, the Looney Tunes, they're nuts. Yeah, I mean, it was hilarious. Just like, hang on, we're gonna put you on hold. Dun, 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 dun. And I just like, it took me a second to register why he did it. And then I just like, over off into the ditch. It was pretty funny. Okay. Now we can talk about something that's not fucking stupid.
No, we'll talk about something that's also stupid.
Oh, okay. Something that's also stupid, but probably has nothing to do with driving or UFOs.
No. So the link's going up in the IRC right now. The article on Anime News Network by Gabriel Perlotta.
I know who this person is.
The Hidden Depths of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Oh, I saw that but I didn't read it. That was on AMN, right? Yeah. God.
You were good to not read it because it's
wow.
It's pretty ridiculous. Headcanons and theories in fiction are fan pastimes I've never fully understood. Yes, there's a certain allure in believing that Aladdin takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, or the Rugrats babies are figments of Angelica's imagination, or Super Saiyans are an allegory for whitewashing. But
I have never heard any of this.
I've never heard of that. I've heard of the first
we need the record
two, not the last one. Yeah.
We need the record scratch. Close enough.
So, but at the end of the day, I just can't get behind these theories outside of a simple, how about that, and moving on. Most of the time, these theories try so hard to shoehorn an outsider's opinion into pre-existing lore rather than making an inference that springs naturally from what's already established about the story. So when I say that Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid does an excellent job of exploring modern relationships, family dynamics, and even the immigrant strife in the modern world, I'm not trying to spin a hot take. I think the story supports these ideas more than a shallow, accidental level.
I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I've seen this show. I don't know what you're watching.
No. I've watched this. I don't know if we watched the show, and realistically, I'm not going to finish this article. Number one, it's long. Number two, it's dumb, quite frankly. But is it me or are like people just generally trying to turn Maid Dragon into something that it's not?
It's a show.
I've kind of seen this in a couple places. Like Anifem did some articles on it, and
I thought the way you worded that made the way you worded that made it sound like you said smarticles. Which I'm like, no, there's nothing smart about what they
not. But it's like Anifem did some articles about it. We're trying to. Is the proper way to portray a lesbian relationship and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, we're talking about the same cute anime girl show, right? So, but it's like, and realistically, Maid Dragon does address some deeper issues, but they're not hidden. Like you don't need to look and see. You don't need to like pick it apart and the hidden depths. No, it's actually a pretty poignant show.
It's very surface level for the most part.
They don't. It's not like a depth thing. It's like they do say some poignant stuff, and the characters develop and whatnot. So I don't get what this entire mentality where now we have to look for things in the show where that allows us to look at it in a certain way. Like, and part of it I think is people like Maid Dragon, but they normally don't like cutesy ass moe shows. So they're
trying to spin it to where they can justify it to themselves.
Yeah, they're trying to spin it so they can justify, okay, the show's actually really deep for this level, but it's just hidden.
No, it's not. I've seen the show. I've seen deep anime. This isn't one.
Yeah.
And not only that, there isn't a lot of deep anime.
I wouldn't say it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not deep, but it's intellectually entertaining in a different way from say deep. Ava is intellectually entertaining.
It's deep in the same way a butt crack is.
So and realistically, I like the final line of this article, which after going through all this, all this bringing up the concept of the melting pot versus the salad bowl with regards to the concept of immigration and immigrants integrating into their society or lack thereof. After this conversation, this discourse about all these hard-hitting topics, the final line of this article is, it's still very quote-unquote anime though, so think twice about watching it with your parents. Which tells me the thing is like, it's one big long, it was good despite the fan service.
Oh wow, yeah, holy crap! And that was something we were pointing out years ago.
This is something we've been on for years.
I've almost forgotten about it because it's kind of fallen out of favor.
It was good, but can we take out some of that fan service?
We have.
Exactly. I'm a big fan of pizza, but can I not have
fans of the dough?
I want to eat a burger,
and this dough is problematic.
But I just want the buns.
I would like a burger, but I don't want the meat or the bacon or the cheese. And you know what?
It reminds me of something that happened when I was at like a bread company.
I would just like the lettuce and tomato. So you want a salad? No. I want a burger. Just take everything integral to the burger off of the burger and leave the garnishments.
No. What's funny about this is this actually happened. No. Like, it's funny you bring this up because this actually occurred one time because of a misunderstanding.
Oh, you told me this. Yes.
I gotta say it. I might have told it before, but in case we got new listeners or whatever,
tell it again.
It's fine to It's a short enough story.
Sometimes we need to reset.
I went through a bread company, and then they have a drive-through too. You know, where you order, you pick it up at the window, just like any other place. It's mostly just it's not really baked goods per se, but you know what I mean. It's a bread company. So when I asked them for something, I asked them because I was ordering for somebody else, and I asked them for something minus the spread.
Oh,
And
the drive-through.
And they clearly thought I said minus the bread. Because when they opened one of the thing, it was just like a piece of fucking salami or whatever. And I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
They actually made it.
And they actually did that. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, you know.
And the more I thought about it, I said, well, think about how weird they thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, though? Clear misunderstanding, but I can't fault them because
no, but it's
you're
just
not you're not gonna get your order made wrong by whoever made that order. Like you're not gonna end up like if that guy's working at the bread company that day, you're not gonna end up with a number 4 when you ordered a number 3. He's gonna give you exactly what you ordered, regardless of regardless of how little sense it makes. So I think that's cool.
Well,
I think that's totally hilarious.
Oh, it is. It's really weird in the sense that, like, you know, I said without spread. It's like clearly your headset or the thing didn't work, or you just misheard.
Did you tell him after?
Well, yeah, because I was like, what the fuck? Well, no. Actually, no. Actually, now that I think about it, I didn't because I got home by the time I realized it was wrong.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, I just kind of looked over at my buddy and I'm like, what the fuck?
No, I would have had to have gone back.
I was laughing. I was just like,
what I ordered, and two to say, listen, you are really good at your job.
Like, I need to give you a serious pat on the back, one for what was clearly an insane sounding order.
Yeah, exactly.
Which that really wasn't on my bad. That was just a short in the hearing or whatever. Because I did say spread.
You know what I love? Speaking of,
otherwise, that doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of fast food, like things like drive-thrus and such, I'm a big fan of watching like these like public outrage videos.
Oh, some of those are entertaining occasionally, like when somebody just loses their shit.
Yeah, that's just like
because they got their order wrong, and I've done that before too. Not gonna lie, mostly when I was younger. You know, I did wing and cheeseburger at somebody.
I can't eat like this. This goes back to me actually being a decent person outside of this podcast. I can't bring myself to ever do that. I find it hard to be mean to people. Like you might
when you've had a bad day, it happens.
You might not like even when I've had a bad day. Like, you might not know that if you only listen to me on this podcast and me saying a whole bunch of insulting things about people not doing their job with regards to anime production and whatnot. But I find it really hard to be mean to people because it's like,
well, Anubis has the mind of a supervisor.
I don't get angry, but I get
he's like the supervisor who's just like, okay, you're fucking up, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's a demarcation for you.
It's like, listen, I'm not mad, but step it up, please.
And then it's not like you go home and you're like the meter maid Darth Vader joke.
Yeah.
It's like what he said just got to me. Gotta go build Death Star.
Taking out a business loan to build the Death Star.
Yeah.
But yeah, this entire article is just one big. It was good despite the fan service. And my question is, can we just get to a level where we accept anime as it is?
With these people, probably not.
But it bothers me. But I like it. But it bothers me. This aspect. I'm like, well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
Yeah,
yes, indeed. That's the show.
So, little piece of advice: less smarticles, please.
Less smarticles, more articles.
Yeah,
that should be the show
more
title.
Testicles. more testicles means more iron.
No, we're not doing that.
That's the show. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. We're currently working on a brand new website for the show, so that's forthcoming in the next few weeks. So keep a lookout for that.
Where you will be
Check
able to
me
download
out.
old episodes.
Where you will be able to download every episode of NTR Radio. Check out me on Twitter at TAnubis. Check out VZ on Twitter at VZMK2. Check out KGods on Twitter at classic_KGods. Check out NTR Radio on Twitter at NTR_radio. Hit up VZ stuff, VZMK2, Moya Mekagatai at WordPress.com. Listen to the Bakugaijin show, because they're really good. Listen to Otaku Midnight, because they're also really good. In addition, check out Otaku Midnight Gaming. That's a new venture they've been starting, and that's pretty good as well. Hit up Iyashike for your articles on otaku lifestyle and con culture. Check out shinakiba.moe for all your half-naked anime girls. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm KGods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though we get uploaded at half bit rate every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.